Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're strapping in for a journey that is truly sprawling.
Uh-huh.
We've compiled a stack of sources that stretch from the intensely personal, the supplements you take, the water you drink,
Right.
all the way to the murky waters of global governance, sophisticated AI surveillance, and these massive legislative maneuvers happening behind closed doors.
It's a huge collection of material.
It is, but the connections are frankly startling.
They absolutely are. Our mission today isn't just to summarize these, incredibly disparate pieces of information.
Right.
It's to cut through the noise and find those interconnected threads. What we realized is that a personal biohack or a health protocol can often be tied surprisingly to geopolitical strategy.
Or that some simple consumer legislation ties directly into these massive sort of hidden commercial profit motives.
Exactly. And the unifying theme across, well, all 5 of our major sections today is this rapid and accelerating erosion of trust.
Trust in government, trust in media, trust in the efficacy of the products you consume. It all points to an acceleration of powerful, often hidden influences shaping our reality, often without us even knowing it.
And if we're talking about trust and influence, let's start where things are often easiest to manipulate.
Perception.
Specifically, the perception of our own health and well-being.
Okay, let's unpack this. We had a surprising anecdote from the personal optimization front. So our sources were discussing a new pair of glasses that one person got to deal with, age-related vision decline.
Yeah.
And they looked extremely sophisticated, and the user immediately felt the benefit, was totally convinced they were working perfectly.
Yes, but here's the twist. Upon later inspection, it was suggested these glasses were, well, maybe non-prescription, or only marginally helpful.
So the effect was psychological.
Almost entirely. You put them on, you believe you see better, so your brain just it fills in the gaps. You adjust your focus. It's a powerful demonstration of how much our physical experience is mediated by expectation.
That just raises a huge question about the wellness industry itself, right? How much of what we buy is actual improvement versus just a really expensive placebo?
It's the constant challenge. But speaking of actual tangible improvement, this is where it gets genuinely interesting, where technology seems to deliver.
You're talking about the red light therapy.
Exactly. Our sources dove deep into that world.
We saw some highly specific claims. One individual reported successfully reversing the need for reading glasses entirely.
Wow.
Just through consistent use of red light treatment. They were emphatic that it made a huge measurable difference.
And this wasn't done in a vacuum. This points to physical optimization aided by focused technology and targeted supplementation.
Right. The sources were specific on that, too.
Very specific, mentioning foundational supplements for eye health, like lutein, and highlighting the efficacy of certain formulations, because pure encapsulation's macular support.
Which combines all the necessary carotenoids and antioxidants. So we have real science mixed with self-experimentation.
But then you hit the extreme end of the optimization spectrum, what we're calling optimization overkill.
The pre-sauna protocol. This felt almost like a parody of a guru protocol.
It was an Olympic-level standard just to go sit in a wooden box, frankly.
So what was it?
The recommendation was highly specific. Drink an entire liter of water mixed with electrolytes and magnesium precisely 45 minutes before getting in.
Not 30 minutes, not 60.
45. It immediately raises a red flag about that whole online guru culture. When does optimization cross the line into setting these unattainable, complex standards?
It just makes the average person feel like a failure.
It creates a barrier to entry. People are just trying to feel a little bit better, fight some inflammation, optimize recovery.
They don't want to follow a demanding multi-step protocol that requires a timer and precise measurements just to sweat for 20 minutes.
The key takeaway should be simple. Hydration is important, not this hyper-specific ritual.
Okay, so let's carry that theme of complexity and control right into our next section. We're moving from personal health
to the legislative floor, where we see health policy get deeply entangled with commercial profit.
What's fascinating here is the alleged political maneuvering targeting the hemp and CBD market. Our sources cited reports of a provision that was basically slipped into a major piece of legislation.
A move widely attributed to Senator Mitch McConnell.
And it aims to restrict CBD products to only the absolute lowest trace amount of THC.
And for anyone who isn't tracking the subtle differences here, you have to ask, why does that tiny trace amount of THC matter so much?
It matters because of synergy, the entourage effect.
Precisely. That super low amount of THC, which is absolutely not psychoactive, it works synergistically with the CBD.
And that combination is crucial for a lot of people looking for relief from chronic pain, inflammation, severe anxiety.
You eliminate the trace THC, and the product's efficacy just vlomming. It often drops off a cliff.
We saw a really specific, powerful example of this synergy in action.
The Dave Foley example.
Yeah, the actor Dave Foley, who is dealing with severe arthritis in his hands, he reportedly found significant, genuine relief only when using CBD oil that contained the full spectrum.
Meaning that tiny trace amount of THC was present.
So limiting that synergy removes a genuinely effective therapeutic option for a lot of people who really rely on it.
And when you dig into the motivation behind this, the sources point directly at what they call the prohibition profit motive.
This is a bold claim.
It is, but they're explicit. The alcohol lobby is documented as a massive force pushing to keep cannabis, and by extension, full-spectrum hemp illegal or heavily restricted.
Citing states like Texas as key battlegrounds.
The motivation is pure commerce. The data is increasingly clear. When people gain access to cannabis, they drink less alcohol.
It's a direct substitution effect.
It is. So you have a massive established industry using its tremendous lobbying power to push legislation that protects its bottom line, all while framing it as public safety.
It's a commercial war disguised as legislative caution, and that just erodes trust even more. You start to question every regulatory decision.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 3. The erosion of public services and economic governance.
The sources here flat out argue that politicians, it doesn't matter which party, ultimately work for a very specific clientele.
Campaign contributors, military contractors, and big money banks.
The real job description is protecting the slush fund and the wealth of their donors, not necessarily the public's well-being.
And you see the consequences of that neglect everywhere.
Like in our food supply.
Take the U.S. wheat problem that was highlighted. There are reports of contamination in conventionally grown U.S. wheat pesticide residue, often traced back to industrial farming in places like Memphis.
Which leads to stomach issues, inflammation for a lot of consumers.
And it's why so many people say they can eat pasta in Italy without a problem. The European standards are just different.
The absurdity of it all is perfectly captured in one anecdote about the breakdown of government services.
I know which one you mean.
An individual walks into a Nashville post office and finds two crows fighting over a package inside the building.
While an employee is frantically spraying, what was it, Lysol or Fabuloso, trying to chase them out.
It's just an incredibly powerful metaphor, isn't it?
It is. The central institution meant to deliver your essential mail is so disorganized that wildlife has moved in and is battling over the very items it's supposed to protect. It's chaos.
But maybe the most serious breakdown is in healthcare. It's the #1 cause of bankruptcy in America, medical debt.
And the crucial issue here is the complete opacity of pricing. This is a real deep dive nugget.
So what's the deal?
Hospitals and insurance companies maintain this financial rigmarole because prices are not transparent. They can charge wildly different amounts for the exact same procedure.
The example is an MRI, right?
Yeah, an MRI might cost $700 at an independent imaging center, but get this, $30,000 or even more at a major hospital system.
And this is allowed because the hospitals lobby to avoid disclosing their actual price schedules.
Exactly. It keeps the entire insurance system inflated and manipulative. We saw that even bipartisan issues like executive orders demanding price transparency.
Which were supported by figures from Bernie Sanders all the way to Donald Trump.
Right. Even those are aggressively fought by hospital groups because this opacity lets them maximize revenue. It's a systemic trap.
Okay, let's transition from that into Section 4, diving into the technology that controls the narrative, the surveillance state, and the crisis of truth itself.
Because if government services are collapsing, technology is rapidly filling that vacuum of control.
And we have to start with the sheer scale of the bot barrage on social media.
The numbers are staggering. We're talking about estimates suggesting that as much as 80% of activity on platforms like X could be driven by foreign-controlled bots.
80%. That is astounding. And these aren't just spam accounts.
No, these are sophisticated tools deployed by state actors like China and Russia to flood public discourse, sow discord, demoralize populations.
And influence opinion on specific issues, from U.S. aid policy to sensitive social debates like gay rights.
It destroys the ability to have a good faith public conversation. And this digital control isn't abstract. It's being deployed in actual warfare with terrifying efficiency.
Okay, you're talking about the AI systems.
Yes. Our sources detailed serious allegations regarding AI-enabled data processing systems used by the Israeli military in Gaza.
The names were Lavender, The Gospel, and Where's Daddy?
Right. These systems process mass surveillance data for targeted airstrikes. And the sources contain some disturbing claims about the human element.
How so?
Intelligence agents sometimes reportedly spend only 20 seconds reviewing an AI-recommended strike target.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Often just confirming the target is male before proving the automated recommendation.
That is a level of dark efficiency that's hard to even process.
And this is where foreign influence becomes explicitly financial. The documented Esther Project.
Right. This project allegedly involves Israel paying social media influencers, some up to $7,000 per post, to promote its image.
Often without the required disclosures under the U.S. Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FRA.
And FRA is critical here. It requires anyone lobbying for a foreign government on U.S. soil to disclose that relationship.
So the implication, if the allegations hold, is that a foreign government is effectively buying domestic political consent covertly, using U.S. social media influencers as undeclared agents.
And just to link this all back to another massive U.S. system driven by profit, the prison pipeline.
Our sources highlighted that somewhere between 43% and 55% of federal prisoners are serving time for drug offenses.
Mostly cocaine and crack offenses.
And this contributes to the highest incarceration rates globally. It directly fuels the private prison industry and powerful prison guard unions who actively lobby against drug legalization.
Because they need a steady supply of inmates to keep their institutions profitable. The system is driven by incarceration, not reform. So let's move quickly into our final section. Because all these elements, failing systems, surveillance, external threats, they all point toward a future we need to prepare for.
Defense, collapse, and the digital future.
We saw sources discussing the sharp rise in crime and the debate around self-defense laws, citing that complex case of a man charged with manslaughter for shooting intruders in his garage.
And the larger discussion there is about societal decay.
The underlying fear is that you create a society so profoundly unsafe by letting violent criminals out or failing to fund policing,
that the government then justifies implementing radical total surveillance measures to restore order. People comply out of pure fear.
And it's not just internal threats, there are external cosmic ones.
The massive solar activity. Auroras visible as far south as Texas.
It underscores the very real danger of massive solar ejections that could wipe out modern electrical infrastructure globally.
And that threat connects directly back to geopolitics. The U.S. interest in acquiring Greenland, for example.
It's not just for its current position. It's a strategic defense asset and a future resource gain as the climate continues to change.
Nations are investing ahead of time for a non-static, potentially hostile future environment.
And given all this modern chaos, some of our sources shifted gears entirely. They looked to history to find some reliable truth.
They described ancient engineering marvels like the Kailasa Temple in India.
This temple is truly astonishing. A massive structure carved entirely out of a single mountain, excavated down, not built up.
It displays this intricate symmetry and a level of complexity that it defies easy explanation with our traditional timelines.
It suggests the possibility of lost, advanced knowledge.
A powerful counter-narrative to the idea that we are the most advanced civilization to ever exist.
Which brings us to the trajectory of humanity itself. With accelerating societal change, technology, and global population collapse.
Which is already severe in Japan and South Korea.
Some theories suggest the next evolution might not even include our current human form.
It's that conceptual shift toward a digital God idea, where consciousness and influence move beyond biological constraints.
And the question is whether we can evolve our perspectives quickly enough to join that acceleration, or if we just get left behind.
A heavy thought.
So, wrapping up this incredibly dense deep dive, we saw the health benefits of CBD-THC almost legislated away by powerful lobbies. We detailed the incredible sophistication of foreign influence campaigns, both political and military, and the dark promise of AI surveillance that can review a life and recommend a target in 20 seconds.
And this brings us back to personal responsibility. In an information environment flooded by foreign bots and self-serving narratives, your primary defense is managing your time and attention.
Minimizing time online.
It's a necessary form of self-defense.
Right.
Actively curating what you consume is key.
And here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with, listener.
Go on.
Given the highly personalized and sophisticated AI surveillance systems already being deployed globally, How long until every citizen in a democracy must choose between personal safety guaranteed by a total intrusive surveillance state and absolute privacy? And what will be the true societal price of resisting that choice?
Something to think about the next time you open an app
Hmm.
or walk into your local post office.
Indeed. Until the next deep dive.